Welcome to the channel, guys. My name is Will. Today I want to talk to you guys a bit about the Brimstone patch update that's coming out here in the next few weeks. There's quite a few things going around the web. A lot of big content creators talking about New World again. A lot of small content creators are, of course. There's really just a lot of buzz in general about New World, and I really want to talk to you guys about a few key things. So firstly, the leveling experience, how that's changed, how that'll affect you as new or returning players. 2, I wanted to talk about crafting and skilling, how that's changed. And then 3, the world as a whole. So what does the Brimstone patch really bring to New World that's going to change the way you interact with the world as a whole? Number 1 is, I think, overall the most important, and they talk about it a lot in this video here. They really cover how the changes will affect, especially you, new players, people who are kind of watching this video trying to decide if they should buy the game, if they should play the game. And it's really cool for that because they've really done something that pretty much everybody has criticized up to this point, where there was really no purpose for being. Like, why are we here in Aeternum? Why are we playing New World? What's the point of being here and doing this? Which really took away from like retention, people wanting to commit to game, wanting to continue to play the game. They needed a reason to. And up until now, that really didn't exist. So it's really been a big upgrade. The level 1 to 25 is now fully voice acted, which had voice acting before, but it was really just the first sentence out of like every paragraph, which was kind of annoying. They've given you rewards worth your time for completing quests, and they've also included just so much lore that was pretty much inaccessible before that. So I'll post it up here, but I did have a video I made about New World lore. So it was really trying to get everyone who didn't take the time to put all that together a chance to kind of understand what they're doing here. So, because this has been a problem since the game launched. So I kind of came up with a solution already for it. Definitely worth a watch if you want to take your time to do that. It's about 30 minutes long, so it's quite a bit of video. But like I said before, the leveling experience is normal now, I would say. So really a huge step going from terrible to now it's what you would expect from an RPG of some kind. You jump into the game, as you level and get stronger, you learn more about the enemies. You progress through an actual story now, and it kind of brings you up to the level 25 point at this point. So kind of the first half of your leveling experience has been really revamped and giving you a purpose, which kind of rolls me into the second part that they have. So they recently talked about major updates to crafting and skilling as well. So things like cutting down trees or crafting leather. Your skills have changed how those work as well. Because right now, with only the level 1 to 25 being revamped, there's going to be a gap between now and when they kind of patch in the rest of the story. They plan to make all the way up to level 60 completely revamped leveling system, but it takes time to progress to that. So really the new player experience. And then in the interim, while we're waiting over the next several months for the rest of the leveling to increase, they've redone the crafting and skilling too to make it more digestible. This is something I'm not a huge fan of, actually. I came from playing RuneScape for well over 10 years. I really enjoyed having to work hard to get my crafting skills up, taking a lot of time and effort to max out things like wood cutting, for example. Really kind of filled that void and gave me value in the game that I don't know if we'll still get the same feel from with the revamps. But for the general public and new players, it is a much more streamlined, it's a much smoother experience for leveling up those skills. It was a big drawback for a lot of players was the commitment, the time commitment it was to play through a game like New World. For a lot of players, because the game is buy to play, you just buy the game and play it as much as you want. It was the first time a lot of players ever experienced an MMO, really. The majority of them, like World of Warcraft, for example, are you buy the game, then you also have to play a monthly subscription. And that's a huge commitment to commit money to something every month, whether you're going to play it or not. So it really dissuaded a lot of players. So a lot of people kind of dipped their toes in MMOs for the first time and went, wow, this is a huge time sink. This is going to take a lot of my time if I really want to get good at this game or commit to having, high level skills or great gear, things like that. So with the big revamp that they have, that's going to help a lot of players fill that void, play through that first level 1 to 25, have a really cool, really fun, kind of ominous story, really, and then fill the rest of their time with gathering skills or crafting skills and kind of developing their individual character story along the way. So I think that'll be really great for you guys. Again, I'm a little nervous. I'll make some more videos about it in the future, kind of covering it once I have a better idea and more experience with crafting and leveling times. And then the final thing is possibly, I think I said the first one is the most important, but this one to me as an existing player and for other existing players, I think this is the biggest one. New players, not so much because you won't really know what's going on because you haven't experienced it in the past. But a lot of problems with the way New World was originally built is they cookie cuttered a lot of it. So a lot of little huts and a lot of ruins and a lot of parts were clearly the same thing that were just like rotated, turned on angles or whatever, but they were clearly the same structures all over Eternum. And it was a big problem because no matter how far you traveled, you kind of didn't feel like you really went anywhere, because it's like, oh, this is the same exact building, it just has moss on it now. And it's like, oh. And that you have that same problem with a lot of the enemies in the game too. So skeletons and ghouls and all these other things, a lot of these different creatures, they would look different. Sometimes there's even just color palette changes, but they would perform the same way, the same exact attacks, the same exact dodges. And it really made it difficult to feel like the world was kind of vast and dynamic. And that was a big problem that they've also addressed. So not only are they introducing a lot of new creatures in the Brimstone's patch, but they're also revamping kind of the behaviors of some of the other ones. So it's going to be big for kind of making the world feel a little more dynamic. And then in terms of buildings and stuff like that, you can actually see in the video right here, they are actually changing a lot of the looks and designs of a lot of different structures and things like that in the game as well. So some of the towns are incredibly different. I mean, they've taken Monarch's Bluff, a whole new town. So you'll walk in there and it'll have a new layout, a new format. I mean, it's gone from like sticks and twigs to full on like castles and drawbridges, and it's like really, really cool stuff they've done with some of the towns. And then of course Brimstone's Sands, the actual location, is Egyptian style, so it's like a whole new kind of style to it, and it's really, really awesome. A huge town, the entire zone is really, really huge, and people are really going to like it. So us as returning players, the whole world is just much more alive, much more dynamic, and it feels like the world's evolving and growing as these towns kind of grow and become different and new zones are unlocked. It feels like Eternum's evolving, and we're not just kind of on that treadmill of cookie cutter experiences. So yeah, it's really, the whole thing is really exciting. And it's, I haven't posted a video in like 5 months because my last one was like a rawhide farming video. I've been really busy in my personal life, and that's really the big problem why, but I'm feeling a lot of excitement and I'm really anxious to play the official release of Brimstone Sands with everybody else. So if you like the video, if you're as excited for this as I am, drop a like, leave comments down below, questions, concerns, things like that. I am very active in my comments when I have them, and I love kind of chatting and debating about some of the changes and differences. So definitely let me know down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.